You want to play Fallout New Vegas, and why wouldn't you? New Vegas is one of the best role-playing games of all time, and it's really, really broken. It's one of those games that people talk about with nothing but praise, right up until you actually try to boot it up on a modern PC. With the recent release of Fallout Season 2, there's going to be more people than ever going back and giving this classic a try, only to be met with bugs, glitches, and endless crashes. For a lot of new players, this is where the experience ends. I'd hate for even one person to bounce off of this masterpiece due to these technical issues. So, with some love, elbow grease, and about 800 mods, you can turn New Vegas into this. This is Very Last Kisses New Vegas, a collection of over 800 mods that brings New Vegas into the modern era. Updated visuals, new weapons, armor, animations, and everything else that makes the game feel great without straying too far from vanilla. That last part is important because in a world full of mods that try and turn New Vegas into something it's not, this mod list celebrates what makes the game great instead. The best part? It's a simple one-click install that even the most incompetent modders like myself can do with no problems. But what exactly does the list do? One of the most important aspects of any New Vegas mod list is stability. New Vegas is a fundamentally broken game. It doesn't run great and constantly crashes. And this mod list, the game runs butter smooth. I didn't experience a single crash in my playthrough, and I had a pretty consistent frame rate the whole entire time. No random crashes, no save corruption, no praying before fast travel. I get to enjoy my time with the game without living in fear of the worst jump scare in gaming history. It's also pretty optimized for lower end PCs, so you don't need a monster rig to get the most out of this. If this is all the list did, it would be worth it, but we still got like 780 mods to take a look at. It's time to address the elephant in the room, maybe the most changed aspect of this whole entire mod list, the visuals. They honestly look amazing, especially considering the source material. Now there are a lot of mods that make New Vegas look better, but what I appreciate about this list is they stick so close to the original's art style and aesthetic. This isn't complete visual reinvention, it's visual refinement. This is New Vegas, just tuned up a bit. Nearly everything has these new HD textures. The UI and menus look cleaner than ever. Information is easier to read, inventory management feels less clunky, and the game just feels more comfortable to navigate. Do I need HD nut textures? Yeah, you know what? I do. Along with weapons and armor, NPCs have also been completely overhauled. They look good, but not too good, if you know what I mean. You'll need another mod list for that kind of stuff. Lighting is another huge improvement. Interiors feel more grounded and atmospheric. Outdoor lighting shows off the natural beauty of the desert, and even neon shines out, illuminating the strip of New Vegas. Shadows, weather, and ambient lighting all come together to make these locations pop more than ever before. This is how New Vegas always looked in my head, and it's great to be able to play it looking like this all these years later. It's great that the graphics are good and all, but for many fans, that just isn't enough to come back for another playthrough. Luckily, this mod list brings a huge amount of changes and improvements to gameplay, the most obvious one being combat. Shooting is something that never felt great in New Vegas. It did the job, but it is really lacking even compared to shooters of that time. Last Kiss turns New Vegas into a competent shooter. New recoil, dynamic crosshairs, and even small quality of life changes like physically dropping your magazines to the ground when reloading. You can also hotkey grenades as well as sprinting. It sounds small, but all these details add up super fast. Combat as a whole feels much more tactical, like every action has meaning. Positioning, timing, decision making matters more than ever. It just feels so natural and intuitive that you eventually stop noticing stuff like this, which is probably the highest compliment you can give a gameplay overhaul. While we're talking about small quality of life changes, this mod list is packed full of them. The devil really is in the details here. New custom animations for everyday actions like picking stuff up, using food or chems, even inspecting these new fancy gun textures. These seem small and unnecessary, but they do so much for immersion. The game feels more physical, more grounded, less like a collection of menus and hotkeys. This mod list also brings bigger gameplay changes to special and skills. Vanilla New Vegas isn't the most balanced game. Once you know which skills are useful and which aren't, you sort of end up making the same build every playthrough, with minimal changes between them. This Modlist changes these by taking some of the less valuable skills and giving them new importance. A great example of this is Charisma. Anyone who knows anything about New Vegas knows that Charisma is a dump stat. You're better off going Charisma 1, Speech 100, and you won't be missing out on any content. Now, Charisma is just as useful as any other special stat. For the first time in what feels like forever, build choices actually feel like a real trade-off. Changes like this make the game feel new for even the most hardcore fans. It forces you to rethink how you approach a playthrough you thought you had figured out 15 years ago. The changes of this mod list are great, but it doesn't stop there. It also adds a ton of new, lore-friendly content that is great for new and old players alike. New locations, new characters, new random encounters. These additions are so high quality and vanilla adjacent that I honestly had a hard time telling what was actually new content, which is exactly how modded content should feel. One of the areas that perfectly demonstrates the level of this overhaul is Freeside. In vanilla, Freeside is kinda lackluster, mainly consisting of empty buildings and rat-chasing children. In this mod list, Freeside is a shithole, in the best way possible. It's dirty and dangerous, filled with chem addicts and seedy pawn shops. It feels like a place people are actually struggling to get by. There are new casinos added, but these aren't anything like you'll find on the Strip. These are dark and grimy, and it feels like you're more likely to be mugged than hit it big. It's just crazy this one area got such a major facelift, and this quality is pretty consistent all across the map. The new random encounters introduced add so much variety to traveling the Mojave. No two journeys feel exactly the same anymore. There's also a ton of weapon and armor additions. All of these fit the world of Fallout well, so you don't have to worry about the overly tactical Tarkov light mods creeping into your game. This new content is handled with such care, and it'll perfectly fit your next playthrough. So we've already established that the mod list rocks, completely overhauls the game into a new, polished experience. But how do you install it? Luckily, installation is stupid simple, albeit with one possible caveat. I linked the collection in the description below, and it's a simple one-click installation, if you have Nexus Premium. Due to the nature of my channel, I'm a premium user, and it does have some pretty good benefits. Now if you don't want to pay the fee, you can still download the collection, but it's no longer a one-click install. You have to go through each mod individually and install them, all 800 of them. Now this isn't ideal, but it's really up to you on which way you go. With this mod list, I've been able to enjoy New Vegas just like the first time I played it all those years ago. Not because everything is brand new, but because all the frustration is gone. I'm not fighting the engine, I'm not quick saving every 2 minutes, I'm not bracing for a crash every time I enter a new area. This feels like the version of New Vegas that existed in my head for years, but never quite existed in reality. All the things that made New Vegas my favorite game of all time are still here. The writing, the quest design, the world, the choices. Just without the rough edges that used to get in the way. If you're a veteran player, this mod list makes the Mojave feel fresh again. If you're someone coming back after watching the show, or even playing New Vegas for the first time, this is honestly my definitive way to play it.